Hey there my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalist videos. So today's video is going to be tips to practicing not wanting stuff or non-desire. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go! Woo! So this video is actually an idea from a question a subscriber gave me about a year ago, and I didn't really have time to get around to it till now. But I just figured I'd address it because I think that these little tips and tricks might be able to help anybody else out who, you know, is trying to transition from like a consumerist lifestyle to maybe a not so consumerist lifestyle. I've had my fair share of like consumerism things that I've done in the past, and this is kind of like how I've transitioned to minimalism. And even when I was a minimalist, I still wanted stuff, and then how I had the final transition to just like being at peace with not really wanting or craving as much as I did before. Like, don't get me wrong, I still do want things every now and then, but there was a period of time where I really wanted certain stuff and I was so fixated on it, and then I felt like once I got it, afterward I still wanted more stuff. So I feel like, you know what, the best thing to do is just maybe like address the core of it. And for me, that was to just kind of figure out why, like how could I practice just not wanting stuff. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so number one, find a non-consumerist hobby. So this is something that just pretty much involves not being at the mall, I would say, although maybe I'm sure you could find a non-consumerist hobby at the mall. I don't know, go crazy. But essentially this is just something that doesn't involve you purchasing stuff. So whether that be like maybe you take up swimming, going to the gym, exercising, painting, creating some artwork, creating a dance, just reading, writing. For me, it's making YouTube videos and cooking and working out. These are like my hobbies. These are the things that I do that like makes my life feel enriched and fulfilled. You'll find that those actually leave you a lot more fulfilled than mindlessly shopping at the mall. Okay, number two, creating things. All people innately inside them have voids, and we try to fill these things with material things such as alcohol, sex, shopping, food, all types of addictions that you could think of. A lot of people use that to try to fill in that void. But you'll find that actually there's another way to fill that void is actually with an outward projection. So creating things for this world will fill that void. So whether that be you start painting, you create things like I mentioned before, you could like take up dancing, you could create sculptures, you could create a musical piece, make a YouTube video, whatever it is, you create something, you will fill in that void. So that shopping that you try to fill in with, that void, you will essentially fill it if you create things. So give that a little try. Okay, number three, invest in yourself. So the best gift you could give yourself is to invest in yourself. You know, like people try to create like an outward projection of what they want themselves to look like. So maybe you want to be an executive, so you start to like, you know, fake it till you make it, dress a certain way, yada yada. But actually that's very superficial. If you want to be something, do the things that is that person. So for example, if you want to be, you know, like a boss lady, yes, you may look like a boss lady if you have the stereotypical idea in your mind that if, you know, you got the heels and the Gucci dress and the Prada bag. But if you actually just be a boss lady, whether it be providing service for people or having a company that can provide employment for others, that's gonna make you the boss lady. And the things that you do that invests in you and invests in others will essentially let you be and create the kind of world that you want it to be, not by buying things to create that. So yeah, invest in yourself. I mean, fine, purchasing tuition is investing in yourself if you have to spend money, but you know what I mean. You kind of get what I'm trying to say. It's the idea that you can invest in yourself, and you don't have to spend money to invest in yourself. You can go to the library and you can read free books. You know, maybe you always want to learn about quantum physics. Well, you know, instead of spending 2 hours at the mall, you can go spend 2 hours at the cafe or at the library reading up on your favorite topics, and that has definitely grown your mind. Which brings me to my fourth point, which is growing your mind. When you grow your mind, you definitely enrich your life and you make your life a whole lot more fulfilling, more so than in any way that shopping ever could. So when you invest in your mind, that's just like broadening your horizons. Anything that you can learn, you're already bettering your life. You know, instead of mindlessly watching reality TV, you could watch a TED Talk, or you could go to the library, or you could read, and you don't even have to read a paper copy. You can just You can buy, because you could buy, but you could borrow. Well, you can get a hold of a Kindle and you could like read books, or maybe you like paper copies, you know. Recently I picked up The Magic of Thinking Big, and this book is really good because sometimes I get in a little bit of a rut and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And this book kind of helps me think of like the bigger picture. So yeah, essentially when you grow your mind, you'll find that, you know, and like another thing about consumerism, yeah, we all still buy things, but when you grow your mind, you kind of like, you become more educated and you're less ignorant about the things that are going on in the world, so you can make much more informed decisions. Like, so for example, for me, when I became vegan, I became a little bit more aware of like what's happening with the practices of like the food that we eat, or you know, the animal cruelty in the makeup industry. You know, you just become a little bit more aware and you can kind of put your money to a better cause. So you know, knowledge is power, essentially. Okay, and the fifth and final thing that I want to talk about is perhaps instead of replacing the desire for material things, you could embrace adding more to your life in the form of experiences. So you can embrace more experiences, and it can be anything from as close to exploring your city or checking out a new place with your friends, to as far as the farthest place you can go in the world from where you live. You know, everything in between is fair game. You know, you don't even have to travel. You can experience new things in life. You know, instead of spending your time at the mall, maybe, or you know, mindlessly shopping online, you could go and experience some new place, check out a new park, you know, go to a new art gallery. There's just so many things that you could do with your life, because honestly your life is nothing more than just a journey. The only guarantee that we have is that we will one day die, and your life is nothing more than the sum of the events. So why not just spend that time doing something fun and something, you know, enriching, and experience new things, right? I think that probably will add a whole lot more meaning to your life. So I think with these 5 tips, if you practice these things in you know, like moderation, you know, there's no point in becoming an extreme minimalist or anti-consumerist. I mean, if you want to, go for it. You'll discover new truths about yourself. But, you know, these things in moderation, I think, can be like good tips to help kind of curb some of that underlying desire for things. And I think the most important thing, maybe I can just add as like a bonus tip, is understanding the underlying desires of why you're craving certain things, because that will reveal to you the truths of what you want. So for myself, when I was craving, what was I craving? Oh yeah, I was craving like a new iPhone and like Hirachis. I just wanted that aesthetic, because what I really was craving at the bottom of it is like I wanted like a banging Instagram, and I wanted like a really lit social profile, but it just wasn't happening. So I thought if I purchased those things, somehow magically it was gonna cure my shitty Instagrammatitis. But in the end, once I got rid of my Instagram, and then I felt like, well, what is the point of buying all these flashy toys if I'm not too crazy about it and I have no one to show off to? Then all of a sudden I felt like I didn't really need all these flashy things, and my cravings kind of went away. And instead I became curious and craving for more enriching and fulfilling things. You know, I started watching cooking videos, because now instead of indulging a certain aesthetic that I could portray online, I decided I wanted to instead indulge myself, and that was, I wanted to start cooking. So I've become a pretty killer chef. Well, better than before. So yeah, I think that these tips hopefully can help you out. Thank you so much for having taken the time to watch the video till this point, and I will see you guys, my little cobras, in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!